October 19th, 12 days after the conflict in Israel kicked off, I went to a rally in the name of Palestine defense against media portrayals of Palestine as the bad guy in the conflict. I spoke to some of the organizers and some of the people there, and this is just a couple of the conversations.
What do you know? What do you see? You're on the lookout with Trinity. What do you know? What do you see? You're on the lookout with Trinity.
My name is Raneem. I am 26 years old. I'm a member of the Palestinian Youth Movement, and I am originally just from Fort Worth. I'm Palestinian. My parents are Palestinian. Right now, I am the media rep for our actions that have been going on. It's not just me, but right now, as someone who's at the action today, it's me. Yeah.
As the media liaison and doing a protest in front of the Dallas Morning News, what has that experience been like working with media at what is somewhat of an anti-media protest?
Yeah, so we're really we're doing it here to hold the media accountable, right, for the espousing of the anti-Arab, the racist, Orientalist tropes that are dehumanizing us and manufacturing consent for genocide. Yeah, I actually spoke to reporters from Dallas Morning News who actually were coming to us in good faith and saying, can we actually, let us know what it was that, maybe our specific, and again, this isn't just for Dallas Morning News, it's sort of symbolic, and we're talking about all media, not just Dallas, like all the media, BBC running headlines, manufacturing consent for bombing that hospital, the Al Ahli hospital. So it's not just them, but, I did speak to a reporter who was, trying to talk to me in good faith about, what they could change, what they could have done better in reporting, for example, our protest on Sunday. I think they originally had the headline saying there was 3,000 participants, and then they changed it to 1,000. And, that's something we're seeing is that a lot of media is minimizing the support of people coming out in the streets. Some other media outlets were saying hundreds when it was clearly people were estimating anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 people were there on Sunday in Dallas, and we're seeing that across the nation. A lot of actions are being minimized in the media with that type of misrepresentation.
And logistically, why would those in the media want to do something like that? Why would they try to minimize Palestinian autonomy and the movements that support it?
We think, it's a deliberate move to minimize the support for Palestine, because it's not just coming from Palestinians or Arabs or Muslims, right? It's a lot, a lot of our actions really have been it's been very obvious that it's I've been talking to a lot of anti-Zionist Jews that keep coming out. Anybody, it's a cause for all people of consciousness, and we think that threatens the status quo, and the masses are disagreeing with their governments that are sending billions in aid to fund this genocide, and so that's something that maybe threatens the status quo. Yeah.
And speaking of threatening the status quo, what do you think is so threatening about Palestine to the United States that you see them come out in such high support of Israel?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What is it about Palestine, Gaza, and so on that is so threatening to mainstream establishments?
Okay, I think that Palestine is the litmus test, and when and this is happening, a lot of people are making the connections, right, to indigenous land back, to Black lives and Black repression, right, and the Black Palestinian solidarity. The history of that is so strong, and people who maybe hadn't made those connections before are now making those connections, and that tangible aspect of land back, right, with indigenous people, and I think what's so threatening is that it really connects the dots in different ways, right? It's a feminist issue, it's a disability issue, and we can go on and on, right? And I think that's what's really threatening about it. At least that's what I think. I think for information, a really good starting point is decolonizepalestine.com. They have amazing resources. Everything is backed up. There's, it's easy to follow. It's very accessible. They debunk a lot of the myths. And then for keeping up to date with, organizing scene and like actions, Palestinian Youth Movement is one of many orgs. But I'm going to shout it out because I'm with them. So I would say following the Palestinian Youth Movement, and for information, decolonizepalestine.com.
And locally, if I was a local.
If you do go to PYM's page and look at the Dallas Flyers, there's usually other logos. So there's orgs that you can follow from that. As a starting point, PYM, and then going to those Dallas Flyers and looking at those logos at the bottom, figuring out who these orgs are. I think there's
At these kind of events, there's always a socialist presence. And while I met many socialists and communists and anarchists there, I have a recording with one of the more peculiar groups there, and I think he says some really beautiful stuff. However, it should be noted that many activists there said this group had very silly ideas.
Pretty well. I think that it's showing a lot of solidarity for Palestine and like what's going on over there. Basically, what we want to do as an org, as a socialist revolution, what we're trying to do is show like the ideas as to what we can do here in the United States to help the Palestinian people overcome the Israeli state. What can we do as workers to support the Palestinian people over there? And we're just trying to like pass out like flyers and stuff like that, so then people just get a general sense of what our ideas are. And some of those are like striking at universities, striking at news agencies, striking at arms companies, so that way we can cut off support from the Israeli state. And also obviously protesting and organizing demonstrations against the U.S. state. So yeah, and I think this is an example that we're demonstrating in front of a news agency, and I think that's a strong show of force of what the Palestinians want and what they want to do. So.
Why Dallas Morning News?
Well, I know I'm not too familiar with Dallas Morning News, but I know that in general the bourgeois media here, and that's to say like the major news publications, a lot of them are showing support for Israel, the Israeli state, and they're making it seem as if the Israel state is the victim and the Israelis are the victim instead of the Palestinians that have been oppressed throughout decades of history. So I think that's the reason as to why they're protesting the Dallas Morning News.
Great. And can you tell me a little bit about your org and maybe give me your name if you don't mind?
Yeah, so my name is Diego Moretti, and our org is Socialist Revolution. We're part of a larger international org called International Marxist Tendency, right? And basically what we want to do is organize workers so then we can bring a revolution against capitalism and instead a socialist state in which it can lead into a communist society. And we want it to be international though. So it can't just be in one country, it has to be international. All workers of the world need to be connected.
And thanks for watching and listening to this. If you're so inclined, we have other projects coming up the pipes at Sisyphus Media Syndicate and our local DFW chapter, the Trinity River Lookout. Keep an eye on our new international news project, The Absurd Times, for more information about Palestine and Israel. Hopefully we'll be having some more stuff soon.